If you're feeling stuck in creating the reality that you want in your life, if you know that you are capable of so much more, you have so much more potential inside of you, but you're struggling to tap into it, it's likely that you have a limiting belief that's getting in your way. In this video, I'm going to tell you where that limiting belief came from and what you can do to start shifting it. Hi, my name is Tiffany Toombs. I'm one of the co-founders of the Life Coach Launch School, and I am a hypnotist. I've helped thousands of people across the world heal their trauma and emotional baggage so they can truly step into their high-performance selves and create the reality and life of their dreams. In this video, we're going to be talking about where your limiting beliefs came from, how they're holding you back, and what you need to start doing today to start shifting them to really create the reality that you truly desire. So 95% of the belief systems that you have right now as an adult, those seeds were planted in your mind between the ages of 0 and 7. These predominantly come from our parents or whoever our parental figures were during that time, as well as any other adults and other people that we were frequently exposed to growing up. Now, what happened was we observed everything that happened in our surroundings during that time. We soaked it all up, and then we gave a meaning to it. Now, between the ages of 0 and 7, we're also very self-referential, which means that we think that everything that happens in our world happens because of us. Between the ages of 0 and 7, it's pretty much like your brain is just in record mode. Somebody hit record the second you popped into this world, and your brain started just soaking up all of that information. It soaked up the way that people said things. It soaked up what people said. It soaked up their posture, their body language, their tone of voice, the muscle movements in their face. It soaked up all of those things. And then when you hit between the ages of 7 and 10, we go from being in record mode to play. So between 0 and 7, we're soaking in all this information and we're giving it meaning. Let's say our parents are constantly arguing. We might decide that it's because of us that they're constantly arguing. Or if they're constantly arguing about money, that we might decide that money is a negative thing. If you see your parents always talking negatively about other people with money, then you develop a belief system, or at least the seed is planted, that people who have money are bad people and we need to judge them. You also are likely to develop the belief system that if you have money, that people are going to talk to you in that way. So we're just constantly soaking up all of this information. Now, when we start to hit play, what we do is we look for validation that these beliefs are correct. And we really have this cognitive bias where it's almost like we're living in an echo chamber, and we will delete information that doesn't line up with our belief systems or that doesn't prove our belief systems to be right. And I'll give you some examples shortly. We will distort information that doesn't align with our beliefs, and we'll also generalize information. So let me give you an example from my life. When I was in my teenage years, I had this belief that I wasn't worthy. I had been abused by my stepmom growing up, and I believed that was because I was unworthy and I was inherently unlovable. When my biological dad then chose her over me, that really cemented this belief that I wasn't lovable. And I carried that into friendships and when I started dating. And so I would settle for all of these relationships. But because I had to prove to myself over and over, and by the way, this is happening at a very unconscious level. Nobody's sitting there thinking, okay, which guy should I date that's going to prove to me that I'm not good enough? We're not doing that. We're doing this at an unconscious level. And so I remember I was at like my grade 9 dance, and one of my friends comes running up to me and they're like, oh my goodness, this guy, let's just call him Jim. Jim's gonna ask you out. He's gonna ask you to be his girlfriend. Well, I'd never had a boyfriend before. I'd never been asked out. I was kind of like the ugly duckling. And I was just like, my body went into this immediate state of panic. And I was like, no. And my friend was like, what do you mean? Jim is such a nice guy. He's such a sweetheart. Now, at an unconscious level in my mind is like screaming, I know, he's too nice. He's going to treat us good, but we don't deserve that. That's going to disprove our belief systems. And your unconscious mind, once you have a belief system, it will fight to keep it. That's why we see so many people becoming so triggered and so emotional when somebody challenges their belief system, is because it literally feels like you're dying. And if you think about it, you kind of are. A part of you has to die for you to become this new version of you. And so I just went into this cold sweat and I was like, no, he cannot ask me out. And I literally like became this super stealth ninja. I snuck out of the gym. I called my dad and I was like, I'm not feeling well. Come pick me up. And he was like, are you kidding? You begged me to go to this dance. And now you're there and you've been there for like an hour and you want to come home. And I was like, Dad, I'm about to throw up. Please come and get me. But I didn't really think about the fact that I was going to have to come to school the next day. And I went to school with this guy. So the next day I get to school again. I'm in super stealth mode. I'm like slinking along the walls to get to my homeroom class. I had one more corner to turn and I was home free. And I thought, it's like, surely there's no way he's waiting around this corner. So I stroll around the corner. Bam. He's right there. You know when you're in a really uncomfortable situation or a situation that's really triggering for you, how you can't, it's almost like your ears are burning and everything's muffled and you can't really hear what people are saying. It's almost like somebody has their hands over your ears. He, I'm sure, said the sweetest things. I caught some of the words, but I was in such a freak out mode that I was just like, I've got a lot going on in my life right now. And like, you know, he's saying all these nice things, asking me out. And I'm just like, I've got a lot of going on in my life right now. I don't want to put that on you. And he's like, no, like, I'd really love to support you and help you through this. And I'm like, no, I can't. And then I bolted into my homeroom class. Now you might be thinking, Tiffany, a nice guy's asking you out. Like, he wants to support you during a challenging time. That's amazing. Most women would like die for that. And yeah, most women would. But I believed I was unlovable, and I believed I wasn't worthy of that level of support and care and attention. And so I friend zoned that poor guy. Now, as I walked into my classroom, my crush was there, the guy who treated every girl like crap, had cheated on like every girl he had ever dated. And he looked at me and went, hey, loser, you look terrible. And I was like, he's so dreamy, and he talked to me. Right? And so this is what we do. And I know that this sounds like a totally ridiculous story, but I bet if you look back on your own life, you've done this somewhere where you've taken a belief and you've friend zoned the nice guy, or you've blown the opportunity. That's too good to be true. There's no way that could be possible for somebody like me. And you've gone on to validate your belief and settle for something that doesn't serve you. In fact, I know that you've likely done this in some area of your life because studies have shown it. There was one study done in Australia where they posted 2 of the exact same job ads on Seek.com with one difference. So the duties, the responsibilities, the qualifications, all of that was completely the same. The only thing that was different was the remuneration package. One of the jobs paid $50,000 a year and one of the jobs paid $100,000 a year. Everything else was the exact same. Both of these jobs were showing up in all the same searches. And what they did was they wanted to see how many people would apply for both jobs, how many people would apply just for the 50, and how many people would apply for the $100,000 job. What they found was that over 80% of the people who applied only applied for the $50,000 job. So even though everything was the same, the qualifications, the responsibilities, everything was the same, except the amount that you would be financially compensated, most people, 80% or more, only applied for the $50,000 job. And that's because of their belief systems and what they believed they were worth. So we have these seeds implanted in our mind between the ages of 0 and 7, and we spend the rest of our life validating them to be true. Now, I will tell you, when you go to start reprogramming these beliefs, it is going to trigger your nervous system. We've talked about this, right? So it helps if you have tools to calm your nervous system, pull your nervous system out of survival mode so it doesn't feel like freaking out when it feels like it's dying. Okay, so this is why I put together my 7-day nervous system reset. This is 7 days of exercises. Some of the exercises are part of a daily routine that will take you less than 5 minutes. I know that you're a busy person, so less than 5 minutes to complete the daily routine that's going to help you start to come out of survival mode so you can truly thrive. And the other exercises are tools that you can use in the moment when anxiety and overwhelm and those other big emotions are threatening to take over so that you can navigate them with more ease. All you have to do to get free access to this routine that I use personally and that I give every single one of my private clients when they first start with me is go to resetmysystem.com/reset or click on the link in the description below. So the thing about these belief systems is they ultimately filter your reality. If you think of your hand like your belief systems, you're seeing your reality through your filters. The same way you might put a filter on an Instagram picture to make yourself look different. And so there is no one reality. We could both be looking at the exact same opportunity through a different set of belief systems and see something completely different within that opportunity. So if we truly want to change our reality, we have to start changing our belief systems. Now, the first step to that is understanding what belief systems we have. How do you know what belief systems are holding you back? Well, start to think about what you tell yourself on a regular basis. What does your negative self-talk look like? This is going to be a dead giveaway to share with you what's holding you back. The other things is you can look at, okay, well, this is the goal that I want to create in my future. What are the negative things that you tell yourself about that? What are the negative emotions that you come up with or that you feel when you start thinking about that financial goal or that health goal or that relationship goal? From there, we can start to really figure out what these belief systems are, and then we can start to reprogram them. Now, a very simple reprogramming exercise that you can do alone on your own is to take a piece of paper and divide it into 2 columns. On one side, you're going to write down all the evidence that you have that this belief is 100% unconditionally, beyond a shadow of a doubt, true. And in the second column, you are going to write down all of the evidence that you have that this belief system is not true. So let's take a belief system like money. A very common belief system with money is that I have to work hard to make money. So it's the hard work, the backbreaking work, the time-intensive work that requires you to make a lot of money. So evidence 4. Now you might think, Tiffany, why would I argue for the belief? I'm trying to change it. The reason is because these beliefs were planted in our mind when we were so young, we tend to just automatically accept them as true. We've never actually stopped to ask ourselves, how do I know this is true? What evidence do I have that this is absolutely true? And so by putting it down on paper, you're going to see just how many pieces of evidence you have that this is true. And for most people, there's not a whole lot of evidence that these beliefs are true or that they're a reality. So in this case, you're going to write down all the people that you know that work really hard, backbreaking work, time intensive, whatever that word means for you, that have a bank account balance that you envy. And then on the second column, you're going to write down all the people that you know that don't seem to work very much or don't seem to work hard, but they have a lot of money, a bank account balance that you envy. And you're also going to write down the people that you know that work hard, backbreaking work, time intensive, whatever the word hard means for you, and they do not have a bank account balance that you envy. I don't know about you, but I can think of a lot of people who work a lot of hours, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and they're going paycheck to paycheck. So maybe it's not the amount of time or how hard you work that makes you all the money. What this is going to do is it's going to help your brain start to realize, you know what, there's not actually truth, total truth, unconditional truth to this belief system. It's going to loosen that belief system up, and this is our opportunity to install a new belief. So how do we install a new belief now? You're going to decide on a belief that serves you better. So for example, you might decide on a belief that money comes from you doing the things that you love. And now what you're going to do is you're going to focus all of your attention and energy on the evidence that proves this belief to be accurate. So you're going to look at all the people in the world who do the things that they love and they make a lot of money. You're going to start doing the things that you love and pay attention to how much money comes to you. Now, it's easy to discount small amounts of money when you're doing this. You start doing something you love and you walk outside and you see a penny on the ground and you go, well, it's just 1 cent. Or you think, well, this didn't come to me because I was doing this thing that I love. But that's an old school matrix way of thinking. We want to break free from that. I used to be somebody who hated carrying around change. And so when I saw pennies on the ground, I'd be like, it's just a penny. I don't want to carry another one around. until a millionaire mentor of mine told me that he has never met a millionaire or a billionaire who will walk over any amount of money and not pick it up. That's the universe testing us to see if we're really ready to receive the abundance that is meant to flow to us. So if you're doing something you love and you find a penny on the ground or a $5 bill on the ground, pick it up. It doesn't matter how the money is flowing to you. It just matters that it is. So we're going to focus all of our attention on the evidence that proves this belief right. And we're just going to let go of any evidence that might prove this new belief that you're installing wrong. As you start to gain and gather more and more evidence that this new belief is right, then you will start to see more and more evidence that it's right. And eventually this will become a conviction for you, and it will be something that you hold steadfastly true inside yourself. And this is how we transform our lives. If you want more tips, tricks, and tools on how to create the reality of your dreams, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We have new content coming out every single week to show you exactly what to do.